No, the people been waiting for a minute. What's up, authentic? Came in the truth and boss in it. Made niggas recruit. Had to shed light on a false image. I.S.U.P.K whole court. Now what the fuck was scrimmage? 2 words for sure. What is it? Real written, start affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This is that threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit. I'ma mix your lean with some real love. When the last time you heard this roll? When I wish balls with the earth and heaven is by the piss ball. We've been the war, nigga, want to take your risk for. Ain't got no big or no class to hold. Only niggas watch my step and block down my soul. And literally my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga. Let the wicked weak and the legal real. God never been 50-50. I should now wait to see myself. Let the righteous cry, silence up a tenor. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. I'm taking the picture, the only thing on my agenda. Hitting for me, nigga. Middle finger to the woman that try to destroy me. The picture beauty I'm a beat. I told that bitch she can't eat unless she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. I'm all falling off like timber. I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes and terror, I stand still. Gonna work for the economy, bring it back to the end here. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. So you understand like a man in his damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. But the quality, it gotta be one man win. And the rest learn way. Never say that I'm calculating my next move. You became a real nigga, 6 refuge. Body shot for hard, that'll get your bruise. My niggas whole record, check the Lord attitude. I came to fuck with your move on the little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Bitches got my eyes, ripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog down by the left. And live by that protocol, walk my face out my sight. Ain't no open door struts, let's go to war with it. I'll get born into a world that never left. I will endure intellectually, draw correctionally swift. No Will Smith, but I am left. What else would you call the killer of deception? A leader got soldiers on post in every direction. All told like a German shepherd, young and a restless, sky hard like a German next. I know you feel me, nigga.
Purchase your tracks today.
First breath I took the light, choose free. Second breath I took was the women and strike, finish the dream. Influenced by might with every city's reveal. I will bring back fucking out the real. Remain calm as the pressure builds. Down in no detail. I live this punk, hustle and my focus and never be a even deal. I only live to do my best is real. I.S.U.P.K, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. God is straight, but they ain't greater. In my return, left of my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't do this, it get improved. Won't take a step till they get referred. All it takes was pain for God's sake. March like a tank. One step will make your mind shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak. Bring hell in the crackers, can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Come on, pay that blood scars in the slave and wars. The Christ around, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will. Let's move on your minds. It's like what death nigga do decide. It's heaven no spade for me and my fellow. Complexity wet with my eyes on the sparrow and I fully trigger while my lips Just to hear the language of love, and I'm true on every word I say. Cause I know my victory on the way. Oh, nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I know it all the way. On my knees, I'm hard, and I'm looking for the victory. Could you tell me love is hard, and it feels so much? Everybody feels so good. It's real, I can talk to put your name. One life may be hard, but I know it all.
Yes, Shalom Israel. Again, this is I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad and Tobago. Again, I.S.U.P.K. started out of 125th Street, SHALAM, New York. Again, under Commanding General YAHANNA, right? And Priest and Officer Swapiala, right? Holding it down for Priest and, Captain 10,000 Galawan, right? So again, as we continue to keep Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, updated, on what is going on, throughout the four corners of the earth. Again, bringing them the reminders that, that we have a record that is rich in history and culture. And when I say rich in history and culture, is that, the Most High God had set something before us. And, as a people and as a nation, and as when you look at him, as a good father, we always look after his people, after, his reputation. Because again, without, any righteousness in the earth, running it, this is what the condition of the earth, would be today. And this is why, again, we remind Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, to come back to your culture, come back to your heritage, come back to your identity. Because again, without, you knowing your identity, and without you knowing, this history, this would be, our condition today. And this is why, again, in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, all these reminders will be brought out, every class time, every time, they see the U.P.K, black, strong black, Hispanic, Native Indian men, on these street corners in these classes, to continue to bring this reminder, to continue to, remind us of our people, and remind us, that the Most High God requires something. And again, as we continue to bring out these records, and as we continue to bring the reminder, to the nation, and continue to bring this reminder to the people, we always make mention that, that there's a number, on every web page of the school, because we have schools throughout the four corners of the earth, in North, South, and Central America, even in, the UK, in Europe, again, in America, all, I believe, 52 states, again, you can check us out, check out our webpage, contact the school nearest you, because again, this is not a Christian church, This is not again your Muslim mosque. This is not again your, as I say, hikey or they say jumpy up and down, as they say roll and grow Christian pastor. This is the truth, and this is why again these reminders will be brought up, and again blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians must you know pay attention, and the attention that must be paid will be brought out through these records, through your history, according to archaeology, according to history. This records, this Bible, which is recorded again, King James Version, again the closest translation to the Hebrew text. Again we as a people, speak Hebrew, and the Hebrew is our language, not the Yiddish, that these, as we say, so-called Jewish people, speak or talk today, because again, we don't speak off of, feelings or of our, emotions, but we speak the truth. And the truth is destroy it. Because now the truth is bring out something in every, you know, person that encounter it. And even all people, when they hear the truth, it will, destroy the lies. And again, this is why again we always make mention that to get in class. Because now you being out of class and you not being, sitting or as you say or breaking bread with your brothers, as they say, righteous men in this truth. This is the condition that will befall your home. Because now without, that black man in the home, Hispanic or Native Indian man in the home, this will be the end result. Oppression, as you say, and molestation of the family. And yet they will be faced with all the things that that this society will push down on them. Again, this is I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago, and again we are out here again here in Trinidad and Tobago, bringing all this truth, to our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, throughout, as you say, Jamaica, again, Barbados, Antigua, all these, Caribbean islands, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, all these brothers and sisters, who, look at these classes, from time to time, get contact the number that is on the webpage. As you can they go at 2905173, and you get all the necessary information needed. Again, today, as we go into our records again, we will read out of our records, and you know, again, this is why again it's so important, and what face you know us today, and what challenge us today as a people is not knowing who we are and not knowing our identity. And when the truth come out, and again, as you say, a strong, righteous black man bring this truth out, then you look at it, as hey, nah, it's not so. But again, it's the same as we say, you pick up your records and it will be right in your possession, because now of not being taught or not being, teach the proper context of knowing that does that records belong to you. This is why again you fall again in that position of going against your brother, dealing wise in the dealing harsh with the system. And because of that, this is why again we always be, you know, coming up against one another, and always, be that laughing stock for the other nations in the earth. And this is why again these reminders would be brought out. Right? So again, again, so you go to the scriptures, you go to the book of you know, First Kings. Okay. Again, we're going to just read and then we'll come straight back again and show everything, come back, into one. But now these records is one flow throughout, this book. And again, not knowing a history and not knowing a culture, how rich it is, with understanding, with the truth. That every other nation would always, look to you as a people, and say, hey, like whatever God forget, whatever God will pray, and not knowing that the God of as we say, of this Bible, of the God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that promise to these patriarchs, to these men that he would, look after them, and as you see, as if they continue to walk upright, then but if they, as you say, disobey and then they as you say, punishment that the curses will come upon us. But notice, he always reserve righteousness because he know that, as you say, as a multitude, as the scripture say, he will the number the seed of Abraham as the sons of the sea, Isaac, Jacob. Because now we as a people, as you say, we all over. And because of this now we know that being, scattered, they will have that sort of rebelliousness amongst us. Because now we take up customs and cultures and the other nations. But notice, we will also, you know, Most High will always set in the midst of us that one, righteous black man, Hispanic or Native Indian man to bring this truth out. And this is why again when you go through the record and go through the book of Judges, you will see, 13 judges after the passing of Joshua, you see we fall, then we cry unto the Lord, the Most High send, a judge, to bring back that reminder unto us. And this happened throughout, our records, throughout our history. And even up to the time, again, when the Most High God, in the time of all the prophets, prophesying in the earth, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel, Hosea, Zephaniah, you know, Zachariah, Obadiah, Haggai, again, all these men and them righteous, black Hispanic and Native Indian men, bringing the truth out and bringing, reminder to the people in a time, where, as we say, we were in that dark, this, as we say, in that dark times, and even, as the Most High God raised us up, and too many years, we even fall down. Then again, in these last days, the Most High sent forth again our King, as we say, because now we say, just as Moses said, that in his time, his time in leading the nation, he said that the Lord will raise up a seed one from amongst our brethren, you know, one that that will walk after the sayings of the Lord, after his doings, just as he did. And let's paraphrase it. And this is why again, we're going to read, even in the time, that King David, or even our King Yahweh Jesus Christ is sitting upon the throne of of David. And again, it had the mention of his lineage coming straight in. So now we will just read, again, you know, one of David's son, which was Solomon. And again, in our teachings, and again, we always make mention of our King Yahweh Jesus Christ made an appearance in the earth, as as he was the first Adam. right? He was, come in the form, as you say, that priesthood in the form of Melchizedek, came in the form of Isaac, came in the form of Solomon, and then, as you say, in his, return, to bring everything what I say, like we call the second Adam came in the form of Jesus Christ, or would you will not Jesus Christ, or today in Hebrew, which is Yahweh. And this is why again, this time now, we just read about, our king, and at that time, walking with the going to the at the same time of his reign, as I say, to redeem or to revive Israel, you know, that we should, as we say, stumble no more in his return. And we say this is why, as the earth, as we say, or these nations gear up, and as you say, in full gear to come up against one another. And then again, as the scripture says, with the turn and try to come against our king. This is why, as he said, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Woe your trees prophesied already in the Bible. And this is why, again, these reminders will be brought out. Right? So again, as we, go to the book of First Kings, right? So let's look at the book of First Kings. So let's read a couple, you know, verses, and then we go, you know, get into this. So let's read First Kings, the book of First Kings, chapter 1 and verse 1. Right? Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. So now, as you say, this is the time, as you say, of King David, you know, as you say, one of the forefathers or the grandfather, as you say, come straight down about King Yahushua. That as you say, brother, who the Most High God, or say, hey, David is a man after his own heart. Because now when you see, because now his thinking and his thought was always on the mind of the Most High God. And then even look into our Psalm, in the Psalms, and you say, as you say, the Lord is my shepherd. Because now the Lord was always a shepherd to us, always a father to us, always, guide from true righteousness. Right? So, we'll skip down. We'll skip down to right to verse. So now, as you say, I just get a backdrop on it because now, you know, as you say, David had more than one sons, and Solomon being the one that the Lord chose, to reign after him or to take up to sit on his throne. This is why again the whole backdrop of the story, because again this is time of reign that Solomon will be crowned king. Right? So right, so it is verse 52, right? The book of First Kings chapter 1 and verse 51. Solomon said, if he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not be a hair of him fall to the earth. But if the wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. So Solomon now making, this cry to himself. Because now, you know, as you know, in the story, coming down, or history and our records, that it had other brothers who, wanted to celebrate, or knowing that again, they were, in place to take that throne, but now being not, as you say, worthy of as you say, of that cause. And again, the Most High God always, choose that leader, choose that righteous man from amongst the nation. Because now, as the scripture said, the Lord know our hearts, He know our mind, know our thinking. And this is why, again, Most High God will always, talk through his, as you say, through his men that he choose. And even if it happened even to Moses, when Moses made that prayer, you will even go to that part and listen, let me go to so right? Let me go to Numbers. So we see the same thing happening to Solomon. Right? Numbers 27. Right. The book of Numbers, right? So we see when they see something as we say during, again when the Most High God, as we say, choose that priest or that, as we say, that man, that righteous man, to raise up, that that will bring order in the nation. The Most High God always, made mention, as we say, to the person who was, in charge before, that he passed it down, I will say, as the scripture says, this truth is going to be handed down unto faithful men. I will hold this truth and I will run with it. And I will always, in the time of, as we say, that time where, when the Most High God, as you mentioned, that we will sleep with our fathers, this truth will be handed unto our faithful men. And this is why, again, the I.S.U.P.K under commanding is under commanding General Yohana. Because we hold this truth down, and the men that had it before, laid or passed it down unto him, and he hold this truth from 69, this truth, and bringing brothers, teaching brothers, teaching sisters, that the Most High God require of us something, and again, the person that he choose is amongst one from amongst our brethren. This is why, again, Commanding General Yana is the only man with the authority and rank, under the Most High and Christ, to bring this nation back together. And this is why when we keep on making these mention of this, hey, come to class, pay your tithes, come sit before your brothers and sisters, and you stop, as we say, joining religion, or some say stop joining, as you say, these religious organizations, as you said, the Christian church, these groups or these break-off, because now when you ask them this one question, where are you doing this truth from? Everything with direct or stem straight back to 1 West, 125th Street. And this is why, again, these records, as you say, everything can be proven. And you can read, just as you say, there's no reading concerning Solomon going to, retain or take, as you say, sit instead of King David. You're going to read and see how it was done as well. Right? Book of Numbers, chapter 27 and verse 15. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, Let let the Most High, the power of the Spirit of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. Right? Verse 17. Which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep which have no shepherd. And this was Moses' prayer unto the Lord. And again, the Most High God always, listen, as we say, because even in the time when the Most High God wanted to destroy us, always listen to his servants. Because Moses, now being the servant of the Lord, cried unto the Lord, and as we say, that part of our record, where the Most High had a conspiracy amongst the nation, where, after looking at all what the Lord did for us as our people, wanted to come about against the man. who the Most High God put in charge. And that brought the Most High God to anger. And this is why again, when these other religious group or organizations try to come up against commanding General Yohana, in speaking this truth, this is why you see, as I say, they would be held accountable for not joining, their brothers in the truth, in this battle. That that we as a people should be joining or one together, not as fighting against one another. Because again, these other nations, they are prosperous in the sense that they would, build off of our fall. And this is what they have been doing for over 400 years. Every time we fall and go into servitude, they build off of that. You cannot again, we as a people, as a nation, must come back to the Israelites, right? So you see, and the Lord said unto Moses, take thee Joshua, the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay thy hand on him, and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and give him charge in their sight, and thou shalt put some of thine honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. And again, you could see this same pattern straight through our records, straight through. And the Most High God raising these men, raising up these men, these leaders, and raising up righteous men under them that would speak the same thing that they have been speaking. And look at that same spirit, like you say, that same spirit, that same vibe that the Most High, because now this book is one flow, one direction. And this is why, again, not understanding the history, not understanding the records. This is why you'd be in this condition today. Right? So we continue on, and so we go back to the book of First Kings, right? And we'll continue on in First Kings, right? So as Solomon made mention, we go back in 1 and 52. And Solomon said, if he will show himself worthy, a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall, to the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. Right? Verse 53. So King Solomon, right, sent, and they brought him down from the altar, came and bowed himself to the king. And Solomon said unto him, go to thine house. Yeah? So we just jump to, right? We jump to First Kings chapter 3, and we'll start at verse. We start at verse 1. And Solomon made an affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David until he had made the end of building his own house, and the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord until those days, right? Verse 3. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in his statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burned incense in high places, right? So we see now, as I say, Solomon walk, right? Love the Lord and walk in the statutes of David his father. Because now, as again, any good father raising up his children, his sons and his daughters, and they teach them, and that's why I say that scripture say, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they should not be paraphrasing. And this is why again we see it every time we open this book. Every time we read out of our records, we see the same exact spirit, that same exact vibe that won through as a people and a nation. Because I know without righteous black men teaching you this book, teaching a black Hispanic and Hebrew, then you'd be lost. You would look at this as some kind of novel or some kind of story book, and then as I say, it would be some kind of fairy tale thing. But these records are really, these are living testimonies of men that walk, upright in righteousness after a nation with the order and the instructions, from the Lord. Right? Verse 5. And right, and the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for there was the great high priest, 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer that upon that altar. In Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and said, and God said, Ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, Thou hast shewed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy. So now the question was asked to Solomon. No. Yes. So that, yeah, the question was asked. The question was asked to Solomon, you know, you know, in a dream, as you say, by the Lord, as we say, there's a lot of history behind that. So the Lord inquired Solomon and asked him, what shall I give thee? Right? And Solomon said, Thou hast shewed, unto thy servant David my father, great mercy. And the Most High God has, did the same for us today. He has shown us great mercy, great mercy. And even in the time, as we say, our forefathers, the Most High God always, favored us, always, showed us, that had compassion, showed us, great mercy. And this is why, today, we always make mention that, that brothers and sisters, would come, and bring this, this truth, that we as a people and as a nation, would always, be reminded that these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord require of us, that these, instructions, that we should come back, or we should adhere to these instructions. Because again, without us, without us turning and walking away from these, law, statutes, and commandments with the ordinance. And as Solomon we mentioned, he said, Thou hast showed unto thy servant David. Yeah, so I never sent you rocket attack. Thou hast showed. Volume was a little, yeah, volume was a little. Yeah, we in First Kings, yes, First Kings, yes, chapter 3 and verse 6. Right? So, again, as you know, Solomon, then ask the question, in verse 5, as you see, when the Lord, what shall I give thee? Because now the Most High God always require of us, something, and that requirement now is us, turning to Him as a Father, and looking for that, as we say, that assistance. Because now our Father, as we say, He have everything in place for us, but now we just had to go to Him, not be stubborn and say, I'll get it for myself. And then when you hit, as I say, when you reach the corner now, you say, wait, but I should have asked my Father. No, what happened now? Now you have to turn back and go. But now a rebellious child would try to push forward, and then it would have consequences at the end of it. And this is what take place with us as a people and a nation. And this is why when these records were laid before us, or for fathers beforehand, with the teachings of their fathers bringing up, because Solomon was brought up under his father David, and that's why he could make mention when he say, you can read on verse 6, 7. So what?
Verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And Solomon, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy.
Right, and Solomon said this because now he answered, the question. Go ahead.
According as he walked before thee in truth.
Read that again, the water.
According as he walked before thee in truth.
And because of David walked before the Lord in truth, because now the Most High God made mention. He said, David is a man after my own heart. Because now, as he say, as the instructions come down, David followed the instructions. And this is why now again Solomon now is making mention of this. And after the upbringing, as I say, the upbringing of his father in the truth, now we make mention of this. Go ahead.
And in righteousness.
Go ahead.
And in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for himself, and thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him his son to sit on his throne.
And look at that now, because now Solomon now, seeing all what the Lord did, and as you say, in upholding this reputation. And again, because now the Lord's reputation will always be at stake. And this is why he always reserved, or he always had a righteous man, holding this down. Because now, when these men, as it again sit, before the Lord, as we see, Moses sit before the Lord, as we say, David sit before the Lord, as we say, Samuel, all these, as we say, these men, righteous men, they would always, as I say, leave, as I say, their sons, the inheritance, as I say, the reminders, because again, this is what a child should be trained up on, knowing the truth, knowing who they are, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And Solomon made mention that David walked before him in the truth, and in righteousness, because he was upright, right? and of a heart with thee. Go ahead.
Verse 7.
That's
On as it is this day. Verse 7.
Yeah.
And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child, and I know not how to go out or come in.
And now he make it mention of this one, because now, as you say, you have a nation of people before you. Now you having a nation of people before you. Now you're in that seat now, without any, as you say, wisdom, understanding, as you say, or as you say, on knowledge, on how these people, will react. Because now, as you say, your father, you grew up under your father, your father teaching you, or he telling you, hey, sometimes your people, or sometimes, your brother might be this way. Because he's teaching you about your brother, teaching you about your sister. And now in that teaching now, now you in the position now where it's not just only your brother and your sister wrong, is as we say, by extension, the nation before you. Because now it comes just like as we make mention, when you look at how this society set up, they go set up the president, the prime minister, they go set them up in strategic places now. And the people now will look onto these, as you say, people, because now they say they put them in on that seat, they put them in that power. So now the people now looking now for solutions to all the problem. So now it's just not just your home, and now it go by extension, now it go by a nation. And now Solomon now making mention now, hey, as you say, Lord my God, thou hast, made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child, and I know not how to go out or how to come in. So, I'm looking for more, as I say, more maturity. Teach me some more how to, deal with, these people, because now I is king over them. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitudes.
So now, as we made mention before, the Most High God, as he say, raise us up, as he say, as the sands and the sea. Now, you can't even count it. This is how great we is. Because now we scatter we through the four corners of the earth. And because of rebelliousness and stubbornness, this is why, as you say, we're in this condition today. And this is why, again, the Most High God, as again, always set righteous men over us. Righteous men that you say, that will hold on this truth and bring the reminder, as we say, to the ones that, as Christ mentioned, because read about it just now, as lost sheep. As lost sheep, on who is will be, led onto the slaughter. And this is what happened to us. Because we turn away from the Most High God, every other nation had a hand in oppressing us. The so-called Jewish man, or the so-called Amalek, or Amalek in the Bible, as you say, so-called white man, as you say, name them, or oppressor. The Eastern and the Chinese, all they had a hand in oppressing us. And this is why, again, we must turn back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, thy so great a people?
And who is able to do this? And now, as he say, excuse me. So, and he said, who is able to do this? Because now, this people, as he said, this people, as I say, sometimes I speak into them and Ezekiel make mention, and the Lord telling me, go unto them and most stubborn and rebellious people. As I say, the thinking might be off, but know this, they still your people, they still your brother, they still your sister. Go and talk to them still. Because now again, the Lord require, as I say, that reminder. Because now, just as all I was reminded, they need to be reminded too. So do just, as I say, do like the as you say, the Christian church will do. With say, as you say, accept our gift, and then teach your people lies. And then now say, go and love everybody. And go and as you say, and go and sell out your nation. Because now again, we have feast days, we have high holidays, and we have, as you say, one of these days coming, I think it's going for Kanaka.
Yeah.
Where as we say, this was a part of our history just before, as we say, to understand when the scriptures say, they always like to make mention whether Jew or whether Greek, this was just before the time of our King, Yahweh Jesus Christ, where righteous men stood stiff, for not, partaking, or as you say, or eating things that is not lawful, but sticking to the dietary law, which the Lord had said before, in Leviticus 11. And this is why, again, these reminders will always be brought out, right? So, as Solomon made mention, as he said in verse 8, and thy servant in the midst of a people which thou art chosen, because we are the chosen people of the Lord. We are the Jews. The Jews is black. The Jews is black people, Hispanic people, Native Indian people. 12 tribes, 12 brothers, the sons of Jacob, or Israel. This is who the Jews is. And this is why, again, we always make mention that, tune in to all commanding General Yohanna shows. All. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Tune in to the Black Watch. Tune into the scripture breakdown as well with General Mahaiman, which will take place on a Monday and a Tuesday. Very, very, again, informative. Even the captains and all who sit, the officers, the men that sit under at these tables, in these live classes, and then bringing out these records as reminders, because now what we're reading out about records of our history to bring the reminder to our people, who again went astray or went a whoring after that boat, and make mention of that in the records. And now we see Solomon, as he said, and thy servant in the midst of thy people which thou art chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered. Because why? Because why? Just as he told Abraham, he with a number, he see it as the sands of the sea. Right? As the sands of the sea. He made mention of that. He made mention of that. Yeah, as the sands of the sea. Right? And he says, give therefore thy servant understanding, right? An understanding heart. And we see today that, the people that lead this place or rule over this place, they don't have an understanding heart. Because now they only seek after their own interests, their own desire. And this is why, again, they see the earth, as you say, in turmoil, in mourning. And yeah, we see the scripture saying Jeremiah 14 and 2, the Jews mourn, or Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. Right? Go ahead.
Continue.
Yeah. Go ahead. 9. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people?
So now he asks that question, because now he asks a question, he asks, hey, who is able to judge so great a people? Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing.
And why? Because now growing up and your father teaching you morals and values, and what is required of the Lord, because when you read up higher up, I tell you that Solomon walked after the statutes of his father David. He walked after the teachings of his father David. So now, by asking this now, it pleases the Lord. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 11. And God said unto him,
Mhm,
because thou hast asked this thing,
mhm,
and hast not asked for thyself long life,
mhm,
neither hast asked riches for thyself,
mhm,
nor hast thou asked the life of thine enemies,
mhm.
but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment.
Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Mhm,
Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart,
mhm,
so that there was none like thee before thee,
mhm.
neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee.
So now we tell Solomon this. Because of this, you can remember now this is a dream. This is now Solomon receiving the instructions, receiving that as they say that spirit, as they say. Because now when we went back to Numbers now, Numbers 27, I think 27 and 17, the same thing, Moses pray and ask for, because Moses' time was about to, come to close, as he was about to sleep. Because now the Lord say, because they do this, he ain't going to enter into the promised land. But Moses say, he asking for a man to, with that same spirit, that to lead his people. And we see the same thing happening here. Solomon now, you know, because of this, the Lord, the Lord gave him that. And then when you read on further down, we tell you that how because he asked for this, the Lord bless him, as they say, in riches, in everything. In everything. And this is why now again we as a people must come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. So now as you say, read about Solomon, because now as made mention, this was one at the time that or King Yahushai or Jesus Christ appeared, as they say in the reincarnation or the rebirth. Because again, all of this is destroy the lies of the Immaculate Conception. Because now again you can go and even as I say, I think it's in Ecclesiastes where Solomon again made mention, concerning, with the birds, and one come in, as I say, life, he make mention of concerning life. How the Lord has replenished the earth. How the Lord has replenished the earth. Right? So now again this was one of the times that you know, or King Yahushai, had made his entrance, right? So now we're going to read about, or King Yahushai, or Jesus Christ, making mention, in these records concerning, as I say, these people. So we go to Matthew, look at Matthew chapter 18 and like verse 1, right?
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time
Mm-hmm.
came the disciples unto Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
Who is this? Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
Right. So now, remember now, you just read Solomon now asking for wisdom, in order, for the discernment for these people, that they say, how to judge them. Now look at the disciples now, or coming and asking, or King Yahushua concerning, who is the greatest. Go ahead.
Okay. And Jesus called a little child unto him,
Mm-hmm.
and set him in the midst of them.
So now we're going to use an example. And this example, because again, the Christian church always like to watch at this, and then without understanding and without, proper context and teaching, they would always, make mention, well, concerning a child. But again, this have a twofold meaning, and they don't understand this. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 3. And said, Verily, I say unto you.
Right. So now listen. He say, Verily, I say unto you. So now he's using the child as the example. So now he telling the disciples, no, this is what I'm saying to you. Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So now what do you mean by that? Now you might ask your Christian pastor, because now remember now it had the same, scenario again, because now this is black people talking, that having a conversation. The same thing with as you say, when they listen John 3:16, they always think that God love everybody, but not knowing that this was a conversation between two Jews, two black brothers, having a conversation. As you say, one asking the other, how can a man be born again? Now we're saying Christ now teaching the disciples, hey, you see all your mind, all the other really humble or yourself. Because until, as you say, until you become as little as read over that part again. So that,
Can. And he said, Verily I say unto you,
right?
except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Right. So now we telling them, unless you ain't convert, or you say when you mean a convert, or as you say a change, you must come to that change, because now he talking to them. Because now, as you say, when you call the child, what the child do? The child come. The child didn't run away. The child come. So now we show them what take place now, because now we bring this child and this child come without any, as you say, any rebelliousness or any child come. So we show them that. Go ahead.
Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
That goes 4, right?
Yeah, that goes
right. So now he say, whosoever shall humble himself. So now he's showing you now, hey, watch how humble this child was when I called it. So now we're using the child as an example. So now this is why again, if you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian are not humble towards this truth, are not humble towards these records, and when we mean humble, not like with the Christian churches this teach. Now you must sit down, and this is why again the I.S.U.P.K always make mention. Hey, come, sit down for 90 days. Shed yourself. As you say, because as the scripture say, you can't take new wine and pour it into old bottle. Because even in Jeremiah and all too, when you go to Jeremiah 13, I believe Jeremiah 13, the Lord, as I say, use an example about Judah and Israel, because now that split. Tell Jeremiah, take one of them, as I say, one of them belt, a good, and put it in, as I say, put it in this place, and then he send him back after a far time faith. And after that time, when he went back faith, you see that it wrinkle and unravel. And he tell them, hey, this is why, again, as a people, we must, stand with the Lord. Because now, for any time, we turn away from these laws, statutes, and commandments, this is how we will end up. We will end up like waste. And this is why, again, we're in this condition. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 5. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name
receiveth me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6.
Right. So now we telling them now, as you say, he's still using the child example because now remember now these men were as you say, were to be set out or as you say, or to go out and to teach or to bring back the brothers. Because now we make telling when he was as you say, now come on the scene. He take Peter and the brother and he tell them, hey, come and go make a fishers of men. Now we telling the people, letting them know, hey, anybody bring harm to them when the men teaching, and this is why they always make mention. Do ever try to run up on a UPK camp? Because now, as you say, this is why you know, as we always say, these men are trained again, trained men, and this is why again, you know, as you say, Brakataya or Aisha again, Hebrew Academy coming up again, 2023. And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are again brothers, you know, who fighting, you know, to you know, as we say, the I.S.U.P.K is what is going to make up the government. This 144,000 righteous men rule. And this is why now you see black men, you know, in this truth, in the I.S.U.P.K under command of Gen.YAHANNA fighting on these street corners, when they fighting, going out to revive, and it's everyday brothers and sisters waking up every day to this truth. And then as we say, we pray that the Lord, you know, will bring brothers and sisters in the truth. Because now we're not, as you say, we're not like Christian church and only looking at, you know, what the Lord going to destroy. Because he already made mention of that. But our focus now is on waking up our brothers and sisters. Right? Verse 7.
Verse 7.
Yeah, verse 7.
Verse 7. Woe unto the world because of offenses.
Mm-hmm.
For it must needs that the offenses come.
Mm-hmm.
But woe unto that man by whom the offense cometh.
Because now, because of this society, and again, because of, you know, what we have learned in the society, and we have not learned truth, then the Lord will bring, you know, utter destruction to this place. He's going to bring utter destruction to this place, and this is why I will see nations, as I say, nations fighting against nations. All what is taking place is already prophesied in these records. And this is why, again, these reminders will be brought up. Jump to verse 10.
Verse 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones.
Mm-hmm.
For I say unto you
Mm-hmm.
that in heaven
Mm-hmm.
their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven.
Right, so now the angels follow the instructions of the Lord. The angels follow the instructions of the Lord. And now our King, Yahweh Jesus Christ, giving these men instructions. So these men will do the same thing because now this truth, as the scripture say, handed on the faithful men. They will teach the same thing that you know, as you say, from the time of Moses to the time of Christ. They will teach the same record. They're not going to turn to the left or the right. They will follow the same instructions, but now with understanding. Not with, as they say, I hear say or they say with understanding, because now as we say the scriptures are already there. We know who he came for. He came not but for the laws 339 Matthew, but for 5 and 7, or I believe. Came not but on for the laws keep on the house of Israel. Yeah, you get that one. 5 or 6, 7 or 10. Yeah.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
And this is why, again, the Jews black, Christ black, the angels black, the Most High God black. And when we say black, as we say, Israel is like the script, I say like a speck of rope or a bird, different shades of brown. And this is why, again, when it make mention concerning color in the scriptures was to, as we say, to destroy the white lies, or to, as we say, to destroy that lie of the people them that have us in servitude. And that's why he say, who will be unto the world? Because now everybody holding our records. And holding our records now, as you know, as profit and as gain. Because now, long as all they're not serving all their God, then we will have all their again, all the God against all them. Because that's why David prayed in Psalms 83 for the destruction of these nations. And then he make mention of part in the records where some of these kings and princes, these heathen and them, where as you say, the true Jews pursue after and send them to flight, because now they didn't have no compassion for the people or for the nation or for the children of Israel. And this is why, again, these records must be brought out in truth, in that spirit, right? So we go back to which one was the Matthew 18.
The book of Matthew,
Yeah.
chapter 18 and
Yeah.
verse
11.
11.
Yeah.
For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost.
And why? Just as we see Solomon make mention, and he pray and he ask, to discern our people whether good or bad. This is Christ now coming then, because now, as we say, in all bringing in this society, we tend to do evil. And this is why, again, you see all these murders taking place. As they say, look here in Trinidad, the murder told on, as they say, don't reach how much, 501, as they say. So now, as you say, and 90, let me say 95% of the murder rate, the murders is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or black people. Rivalry, as we say, because we join religion, we join, as we say, Muslim and Rasta. We join, as we say, the custom that they say, or the doctrines of these other nations, and taking up the culture and as they say, and the way of life. And what it bring rivalry, because now again, I can see eye to eye with my brother. And this is why Christ make mention, as he say, for the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. Because now we have our way back. We have our way back. And this is why, again, these records must be brought out. The truth must be brought out. And the truth has been continued to be brought out since 1969. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 12. How think ye, if a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, doth he not leave the 99 and go into the mountains and seeketh that which is gone away? So like a gone astray?
Yeah. So now, as we say, and this is why now we make mention of that, because now, as we say, we have our brothers in the bayou, in the reservation, and say, we Tom, John, Lab, and Till. As you say, down here in Point, down here, as you say, in Library, all these, as you say, these space where they, as they say, made mention, and where they like to have us underdogs, as get to. You have lost, as you say, lost brothers and sisters inside of it. This is where we live. This is the condition that we face today. And this is why, again, when, we always make mention to our brothers and sisters and we say, look at what is blowing up, as you see, mainstream media with as you say, with this brother, Kanye West. And it show you, as you say, when the Lord, as you say, require something of you, the Lord will bring you to your lowest. Will bring you to your lowest. And as we say, Satan always make that intervention at the Lord, because now, as they say, you're playing your mouth, as they say, like to make mention, as they say, like to say certain things. Now, you will just see who is your friend and who is your enemy. And this is why, again, as Commander General, if we, as we say, we don't have to, as we say, make mention, who to trust in, because the scriptures already tell you who not to trust, and we know who not to trust. And this is why, again, we need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead. So, yeah, 15.
Okay. Verse 12.
That's right. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Nah, 15. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiceth more of that sheep than of the 99 which went not astray.
Because why have a rejoicing in that? Why have a rejoicing in that? Because now, this is why I always say, this destroy the mindset of the Christian. Because now Paul make that mention, or he pray that all Israel should be saved. But you know what them want? The Christian church. This pray that all them is the true church. Every one of them praying that them is the true church. And they don't have a care for one another. They don't have a care for one another. They don't have a care for the brother, for the sister. But here we can make this by example, because why? You know that 90 and that 90 and 9, you know, here we're going on them in order, the shepherd. But the one that he bring back now, right, we get the food in order. Rejoice more, because now, as you see, now we in order. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, it is not that the will of your Father, which is in heaven, that one of these little ones shall perish.
See, now we make it. This is not, as you say, we Father will. But know this, anytime you're straight, we got skin. We got some mixed again. But this is not on the, let's say, to the top of your agenda. Because now we have a chance, give you mercy, give you that chance to turn back. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Moreover, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee.
So now we get a solution to fix the black and black crime, to fix the problem in the black home, the Hispanic home, and the Native Indian home. Go ahead.
Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
And this is so, as you say, so glorious and so wonderful. Because now, when that happens, now, as we say, we have no rivalry, as we say, between Muslim and Rasta. And as you say, all these, as you say, brothers coming up against me. All the blacks coming up against the Hispanics. Or as you say, all the Native Indians and the Bayou, as you say, coming up against, the brothers. Right? Jump to 23.
Verse 23. Therefore, is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. Verse 24. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents.
So now he going into some here again. Because now again, we now read where Solomon asks for this, and scriptures make there be none like him again. Now it's showing you now, as I say, the spirit that because now, as you say, Christ walking the earth, now we full of that spirit. Because now when you read these records now and you look back and you say, wait, all these things, as they say, now we, as scripture say, when it make mention of birth, and he said, as you say, this child grew and he was full of as you say, of the spirit of the Lord. And that's paraphrasing. Then when you read Matthew, I think 2 coming up in the birth. And he started to walk and he sat down before, as I said here, before men, teaching these records, and he grew in, as I say, in understanding. Now we could be able to do what? To teach this. Because you see, as the scripture said, all you get understanding. And this is what Solomon asks for, to understand how to discern between good and bad. And now Christ now showing you, teaching an example how to discern between good and bad. Because now, as they say, you're judging a matter, you're judging it righteous. But now when you now had that return, as they say, to judge the same matter, you ain't judge it right. What will happen? That judgment will come on you. And we'll just read out this, as they say, this parable, or as you say, this reminder. Just as you say, if your brother hurt you, as they say, he tell you, hey, go take one of your gainer brother, and show you now concerning with that gain, and it show you out on the flip side now. If you could really, as they say, gain a brother, teach you that. Teaching you that. Yeah? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse
24.
24. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents.
Right. So this person was brought unto the, as they say, to the king, we owed him 10,000 talents. Go ahead.
But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
Right.
Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt.
And this is so important and word too. Because now we understand now that, hey, somewhere along the line, that Lord showed mercy unto me. Showed mercy unto me. And as a king, hey, I must have some kind of, as I say, compassion within myself towards the men and them that serving under the people. So now, by expecting the same, as I say, this truth pass down to faith from me. I will show you something as you go along. Go ahead.
Done. Verse 27. So like it, verse 28.
Yeah.
But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest.
So now this same servant now we're just owing how much?
10,000.
10,000. Now our next servant now owing how much? How much you owing? 100. Where is the ratio between that? And just showing you how, as you say, how we as a people could flip in a minute. How we could, as you say, we could turn from the Lord just by, as we say, just by following after these other gods, just by worshiping, as they say, Christmas, birthday, these, as they say, these customs. Go ahead.
Okay. Which owed him 100 pence, and he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest.
So now the king didn't choke him out, but he choking out this brother. He choking out this silver. He choking out the silver. Go ahead.
And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
So now he same. So he telling him the same thing we tell the king. Go ahead.
And would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
So now when he do that now, tell him, hey, he show no compassion at all. Because now, as I say in a minute, we forget. It show you how quick we could forget where we come from. And how quick we can, as you say, we can turn evil towards one another. In a minute. Go ahead.
Verse 31. So when his fellow servants saw that what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done.
So now the report going back up. Remember now, as they say, you're in a kingdom. And again, this is why in the records they always make mention. The Lord eye is 10 times, how much time brighter the scripture say? That's paraphrasing, 10 times or 100 times brighter than yours. That's paraphrasing. He can see everything. He can hear everything, he know everything. And now we know it because now we are men on the ground. The air angels on the ground. I report on the ground. And everything that's seen going taking place, it have a report again. It going back. And this is why again, when you see, as you see that compassion, as you see, or you see that come down, it expected. And the Lord require us something. And this is why again, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Lord required us as a people to turn back, to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because as a Father, He put everything in place. He put everything in place, and you say that fearful thing to fall in the reading it right in the scriptures. Scriptures say that. The records say that. The fathers, as you say, lead that day for the children, and they teach children, and this is what we were taught. Yeah. And they make mention of that. I make mention of that. And this is why, again, we as a people must turn back. We must come back. Right? So I say, and his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Right? And it was 30, and he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay his debt. Right? Verse 31. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry and came and told their Lord all that was done. So now when this happened, the report reached back. The report reached back. And when that report reached back, this is what, this is what take place, right? Verse 32. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I have forgiven thee all that debt, because thou desirest me, Right? Verse 33. Shouldest not thou also have compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? Right? Even as I had pity on thee. Right? Verse 34. Right?
Verse 34.
Mhm.
And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him.
So now, this is why again, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, as you say, verse 1 to 14, it shows you a lesson. And when we read from 15 straight to 68, it shows you how much torment, as you say, we go through as a people because of not adhering to these laws, statutes, and commandments. And this servant, as I say, faced penalty. Face that as I say, that penalty for not adhering and because of not having, as I say, just as Christ made mention higher. Because if you do that, because when you went to him, hey, you're supposed to gain our brother. But what you do, you didn't gain our brother. You want to be, as I say, destroyed. You want to be, as I say, do away with him, bring him to naught. But not knowing, as I say, thy family. That is a family. And this is why, again, these records is full of instructions in how to build or to rebuild. And how to build, so like, how to build back a people and a nation. And fall, what we should do. And rising, what we should do. And this is why, again, when you see the Lord, as you say, make mention in Zephaniah 2:1, when he tells you, hey, he say, gather yourself together. Because we know why he tells me together. Because now with hard time is coming, that if we're not together, this is what we'll be for. And as we see, as the Lord, gathering these 12 tribes together in these last days, in the I.S.U.K. and the commanding GEN.YAHANNA, we always remind brothers and sisters to come to class, to pay, as you say, tune in to all, the I.S.U.P.K classes, tune in to commanding GEN.YAHANNA Black Watch, Hyman, Scripture breakdown, all the captains and them, tune into the classes and then tune in to, as I say, because again, we'll be on the street corners here in Trinidad every Friday from 12. Wherever your school is at in the UK, whether I be in New York, whether I be in, as you say, Chicago, Houston, Florida, these four corners are the areas. Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, whether these classes be, pay to log in to the I.S.U.P.K classes because now the reminders will be broadcast. Right? So again, this is the I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago, just continuing, as you say, as I've been taught and I've been passed on by our King YAHWH, the Most High Christ or King YAHWH, Commanding GEN.YAHANNA, the men above, the generals, the captains, the officers, the young brothers, coming to the school, receiving their Hebrew name, making the 90 days. The Lord requires something. And that requirement, as we say, on these two hang all the laws and the commandments. To love your brother as yourself, to love the Most High God with all your heart, and to love your brother as yourself. And all these things hang on all these sayings and these men and the message of the prophets out. Again, say pay your tithes, I'll say join your brothers in these high holy days, these feast days, and again, let me watch Babylon fall. Let me look, as you say, at Babylon fall, as this system fall, as this government fall, and the new government, come into effect and taking hold of that stronghold, of the coming of our King YAHWH Jesus Christ, to bring back these 12 tribes, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together under one fold, under one umbrella, which is the nation of the children of Israel. Right? So again, this is I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago, right? And with that, we pass the class the priest and officer Yaka, right? Yeah.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, and New York, under commanding General Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. If when a brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3 from verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in the Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase that the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, the next upcoming feast, right, is the feast of dedication of Hanukkah, which is the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which is Saturday, 17th of December, 2022, for 8 days. You find this in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, from verse 5, verse 52 to 61. Remind Akim and Agwakia to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If your brother wants to be a trip on the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headband or scarf. Or that we say imadium, which means to stand. That which means to turn. We say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Our now, Shabbat Shemayah, Kodash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakotka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aishash, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashemayah, Nathan, Nanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalakno, Kawatno, Wasalakno, Kawatino, Wala'a, Kabayanawa, Walasaiwan, Abo, Awashino, Mayan, Ra, Yah, Laka, Amalakwa, wa Al, Tapara, wa Iwalamian, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, in thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day daily bread. Forgive us our debts, forgive our debtors, lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. We're going to say the blessings. Barakata Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Maka'ala, wa Alayam, Matazabia, Alawap Yahan, Alawapia, Asaranya, Akadazan Yam, Akan Yam, wa Wakia, Yahweh, wa Hashem, wa Shai, wa Raman.
Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh
Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanna, General, Captain, officers, troopers, and the sister, Yahweh, name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. You're going to say you have captain power. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Abukashai, Nathan Nawa, Haka, Rafa'a, Kamaka'ala, Kamadawo, Haka, Lataha, Amatazaraya, Haka, Lakoyam, Amatayam, Haka, Arakawak, Amata'ala, Garashem, Bahashem, Yahushai, Wada Amam. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please give us a power to heal all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, or to cleanse the leper, or to raise the dead, or against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. We're going to say the I.S.U.P.K questions. Bless you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the schools. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasures and the rich of Israel, and refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Kwasi-Kumatazi, the gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space movement, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from casting your words through the planet earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues take the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael, Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak that word. Cause it to be known by all that is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, through the whole world. Cause it to shake as they come. In the name of Yahushua, thank you all. So be it. We're going to say, bless Israel, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Barak Anahu, Bahasha'al, Wabayah, Saparia, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Adan, Commander General Yahanna, all the generals, captains, officers, troopers, sisters, children, the destroyer of Israel, brothers and sisters by coming to the truth, brothers and sisters being the truth, I.S.U.P.K will end their families, I.S.U.P.K try to be on their families, Tisha, Azapah, Mapatizah, Tamar, Commander General Yahanna, the general, captains, officers, troopers, sisters, children, the destroyer of Israel, Yakal, Matizah, Radam, Naimaya. Bahashem Yahushai, Tawaraman. What we just said in English is, Lord, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the schools. Bless, he, she, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushai, thank you. So be it. So, which means two. We're going to give one courtesy salute. I want to Shabbat, Majo, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Rakatah. Sir, the sisters, we get the sisters online in courtesy salute. I want to Shabbat, Majo, Barak, Yahweh Shemah Latan Bahashem Yahushai. Yamata, Francis Smith.